Erika here with PrepScholar GMAT. If you're considering business school, you're likely preparing to take either the GRE or the GMAT. But how are these two tests different? Why take one over the other? Today, we're going to talk about the key differences between the GRE and the GMAT and how you can decide which test is right for you. Step one in deciding between the GRE and the GMAT is to know your goals. First off, are you 100% sure that you want to go to business school, or are you considering other graduate programs? The GRE is used for a wide variety of programs, whereas the GMAT is only used for business school. This means that if you aren't totally sold on business school, taking only the GMAT can limit your options, whereas GRE schoolers leave a lot of doors open. Now, if you are set on business school, you need to think about the specific schools that you are interested in. The majority of business schools now accept both GRE and GMAT scores. However, some schools still do not accept the GRE. Similarly, many schools that take both exams still prefer the GMAT to the GRE. So if you're headed to business school, check with the schools that you're interested in to see 1, which exams they accept, and 2, which exams they prefer. Step 2 is to know your testing style. Both the GRE and the GMAT are adaptive. The difficulty of the questions you receive depends on your performance on previous questions. However, there is a key difference. The GRE is section adaptive, while the GMAT is question adaptive. The GRE adapts the question set you receive in the second section based on how you perform in the first section. But within each of those sections, the questions don't change. You can get all of them right or all of them wrong, but you'll still get the same questions. This means that within a section on the GRE, you can skip hard questions and come back to them later and they'll still be the same. Or you can check your work if you have extra time at the end of the section. The GMAT, however, adapts between each individual question. Your performance on one question can affect which question you receive next. For this to work, the GMAT does not allow you to skip problems or change your answers once you move to another question. You have to answer each question when it's given to you. This can be super stressful for some students, especially students who are perfectionists. They don't like to guess when they're only halfway through the section. Wasting too much time on hard problems can create major time management issues, and it can ramp up students' testing anxiety in a big way. So if you know that you struggle with time management or testing anxiety, the GRE might be a better bet for you. Step 3 is to know your strengths. First, consider your English skills. There are several differences between the GRE and the GMAT verbal sections. However, the most important is the GRE's focus on vocabulary, with the text completion and sentence equivalence question types, versus the GMAT's focus on grammar with the sentence correction question type. Both vocabulary and grammar rely on strong English skills, and both pose a particular challenge to test takers whose first language is not English. However, vocab-based questions make up a higher proportion of verbal questions on the GRE than grammar-based questions do on the GMAT. This means that weaker English skills will impact your score more on the GRE than on the GMAT. Grammar is also much easier to study for than vocab. Memorizing 10 to 20 grammar rules is going to help a lot more with a lot more questions than memorizing 10 to 20 vocab words will. Overall, this means that verbal is harder on the GRE than on the GMAT. So if your English skills are weaker, consider taking the GMAT. Second, think about your math skills. The GRE and GMAT quantitative sections test nearly identical math concepts, but because the GRE is built for a wide variety of graduate programs, including programs in the humanities, the questions testing those concepts on the GRE are typically easier than those on the GMAT. For example, the GRE features a higher proportion of straight-ahead math questions, especially geometry, whereas the GMAT places more of an emphasis on logic. There's also the issue of calculator versus no calculator. The GRE allows the use of a calculator on the quant section, but the GMAT does not. Calculators can definitely waste more time than they save, but they can be a lifesaver for students who struggle with mental math. Overall, this means that quant is harder on GMAT than on GRE. So if your math skills are weaker, consider taking the GRE. Of course, there are more differences between the two tests. However, on balance, the differences covered in this video are the most likely to impact your success on either test. So to decide which test is right for you, you should 1. Know the goals for your degree program and desired schools. 2. know your testing style, focusing specifically on your time management and testing anxiety. And 3, know your strengths in English ability versus math ability. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions on what we talked about today or suggestions for future videos, please leave us a comment below. You can also hit the button to subscribe for 3 new GMAT videos every month. You can feel free to check out the PrepScholar GMAT blog or the PrepScholar GRE blog for even more great content. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching and happy GMAT or GRE studies.